Hey everybody, Adam Davidson, RadCast for Monday, December 12th, 2022. We're going to be in Matthew chapter 2 this week. I hope you can join me all week, Monday through Friday. This thing goes to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, usually by 6:30 a.m. If you see it and you like it, share it. Let me know what I can do to make it better. This is 3 minutes and the clock is ticking right now, but this, I hope, is a great way to start your day and get your heart and your mind focused on Christ. Hear these words from Matthew chapter 2. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who was born king, who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." And that's the word of the Lord. This is the Christmas story. You know, yesterday at church, our pastor said one of the greatest challenges is telling the same story in a way that will make it refreshing and new for the season that we're in. I mean, you know the Christmas story. You've seen the Charlie Brown Christmas special. You've probably read the Gospels. This is a familiar story. But I was looking at it this morning, and this is what I thought about with just these first few verses. Number one, Jesus is already here. You know, when we had kids, and probably when you had kids too, you had people already there at the waiting room and at the hospital, waiting for this child to arrive, and then boom, there's the kid, and then there you are visiting the kid and the mom a little bit later. The Magi don't show up until later. Like, they aren't even invited to the party until Jesus is already here. They weren't there for the birth. They show up later on. So I think that's interesting. I also find it interesting that Jesus is called the King of the Jews, that he already has a title of majesty and royalty and leadership. He doesn't become the king, he is the king. I think it's interesting, too, that God moves stars around to guide people, right? Like, of all the resources God has at his fingertips, he's like, I know, let's move the heavens and the skies around and just I think that's kind of cool. And then, of course, I find it fascinating that they come not just to show up and be like, hey, congratulations, but to actually worship this young king, this baby king. So here's how it applies to our lives today. Number one, Jesus is already at work in the world. You don't have to summon him. He's already here. He's already doing something somewhere. Our job is to find him and join him in this work. Second of all, he's already a leader. He doesn't enter into leadership over time. He doesn't work his way up the ladder. He's already the King of the Jews, King of kings and Lord of lords, always has been, always will be. He's in charge today. This pushes against our assumption that we can lead our own lives and pull Jesus in here and there as a resource. He's not a resource. He's a king. Then this idea that God rearranges the universe, that he literally moves things around to direct these people to the presence of his son. Don't think that God can't handle the details and the intricacies of your life. Of course he can. He moves heavens to get stuff done. And then, of course, that Jesus is worthy of worship. Don't we all assume, myself included, that it's really about me and my experience? And it's not. It's about him. It's about his lordship. And as we worship him, as we trust God to rearrange the universe, as we trust him to lead, and as we believe that he's already here, we will find ourselves following a king who is so far beyond us, so far ahead of us, so much more glorious, and yet so good, so approachable, and so present in the here and now. That's RadCast.